Good morning. In this episode, we are leaving Colorado. We've just spent a couple of days at Colorado Springs. We're leaving the state of Colorado and going into Utah. We're heading for Moab today. We're going up and down back through the mountains. We're going to look at a place called Fairplay, which should be quite an interesting place. One of the things we're really looking forward to is putting the drone up and flying around Colorado River as the Colorado River gets wider and wider as we go lower and lower. So come along on the journey and see what we see.
As we embarked on the first leg of today's journey, we set out from Colorado Springs and followed Highway 24, passing the small town of Hartselle before making our way northwest to Fairplay, where we'd planned our first main stop of the day.
The drive from Colorado Springs offered us breathtaking views of the state's snow-capped mountains, expansive open plains, and quiet back roads.
Driving through that part of Colorado, it's really rocky with lots of different rock formations and trees, and then it opens up into a massive big plain area. And we just drove through that plain area, and we did notice a whole heap of bison in part of that plain. Not sure if it's a farm or if they're there in the wild, but just a huge amount of bison just there. And we've popped into this little town. Not sure what the population is. It's a few stores that have closed, but cool little place.
As we journeyed, we couldn't help but think about the last few destinations that awaited us on our American road trip.
Leaving behind the snowy roads and chilly winds of the north, we looked forward to embracing the warmth of the American Southwest, where we'd been warned a summer heat wave would greet us right on cue.
All right, so we stopped in at Fairplay, and then we stopped in at the museum here, which is called South Park City.
On the walking tour, South Park City Museum's first building is an old chapel dedicated to John Lewis Dyer, a Methodist preacher who served the people of South Park, Colorado from 1863 to 1877. His role as a circuit riding minister visiting the faithful in every corner of the parish solidified his legacy and earned him recognition as one of the esteemed founders of Colorado.
A wall of arrowheads before, but look below, there's just probably 150 of them, all different types, sizes.
The next building is the South Park Brewery, the largest building in the museum. Built in the mid-1870s, it is still on its original site. The basement houses a theatre and the Bayou Salado exhibit, among other artefacts from the different groups of people who have called this area home.
Just outside the brewery is the Smokehouse, also still located on the original site where it was built in the late 1800s.
Moving on to the main street, we came to Rachel's Place, a saloon and gambling parlour.
What do you have to do to get some service around here? Hello.
It had been in operation until 1937 and was moved from Alma to South Park City in 1958.
Nice little rocking chair. Good, nice.
The Summer Saloon building, built in 1879 and still on its original site, houses a rock and fossil collection.
The main street of this little exhibit, this museum exhibit, is quite beautiful. At the background of it, there's snowy mountains again. We're seeing a lot of those, and it's just beautiful. They've really done this quite well. So as you've seen in the episode so far, we've visited a lot of these towns. America does these really well. And this one's really good. Like, each little house has a really well set out exhibit. It was, how much was it to get in?
$12.
It was $12 each per adult to get in. It's quite cheap. We just paid cash. Easy access. Really good to look at.
One of the things I find amazing about these log cabins is just the way they've angled everything. Everything has to be cut to be slotted together so that it actually holds in. And the way this is sort of dovetailed just holds it all in. And then within the gaps here, fill it all in with some sort of mortar or concrete. Just amazing how much work went into them. Yep, in court again.
Is this before or after the last jail one?
Yes, after I escaped from Fort Laramie, back in court again.
What was it this time? Being an Australian in America.
It's illegal. So as you come off the main street, you turn right and go up to the Al McQueen mine. So we'll have a quick look in there.
The Al McQueen mine is a reconstruction of a hard rock mine, paying homage to the area's 19th century mining history.
Stick of dynamite, fuse coming out. Just need one of those things. It's amazing how much the magnifying glass does show up all the little different colours, different shiny bits. Just when you move the light, you can just see so much more. So in the milling process, the rocks would come down through past the little wagon we just saw into this crusher area. So the big rollers would crush the rocks down. It would then get washed through with water, and this bed would somehow rock, and the heaviest parts would keep moving down and separate out. So the light stuff gets thrown away and the heavy stuff is left behind. That's your gold and all the good stuff you're after.
The transportation shed, the South Park City Depot, and the narrow gauge train on site showcase the historical transportation of the area.
Just looking at the fireplace, like the ornamental patterns that they have in the fireplaces, just beautiful. You just imagine standing around waiting for the train in the snow. It's nice and warm by here. They might have a kettle or something up here for some coffee. Just beautiful. All aboard! Where's my bill?
What is this, Scott?
So we're inside the little caboose and just looking at the bedding. Like, this must have been for a child. I guess if the child was naughty, you could put him in bed and then just close it up and lock it.
Do you reckon? Okay, so if you look around in this little cabin, you'll notice the newspapers on the walls. In Australia, they did a similar thing. So they'd build these rudimentary cabins out of the timbers of the local forests, and they originally, I don't know about America, but in Australia they'd originally just have an earthen floor, and then after years of sweeping, the floors would sink down, and then they would put these floorboards in. But for insulation, even in Australia they did exactly the same thing, especially around the New England where we're from. They'd put newspapers on the wall to try and block some of the gaps coming in from the timber and give themselves a little bit of insulation. So I guess in different areas they'd be making that thicker and thicker with newspaper. But if you ever renovate one of these old places, it makes for some very interesting reading of the newspapers that are on the wall.
Continuing the tour of the old town, visitors can explore buildings such as the livery and stable, blacksmith shop, the old pink schoolhouse, sheriff's office, and other typical town structures. So looking again at some of these old tools that we found in this museum, so these are all wooden threads. So they're not metal, they're wooden threads that they used on their vices. And the other little thing I just saw was this little hand lathe. So that would spin somehow, I'm not sure how, maybe by hand, and then they would use the chisel to put the shape on it.
Court case go, Scott?
Not so well. I'm behind bars again. Psst. Have you got a key?
It's not locked.
I'm free!
How much for the one down on the bottom right?
Just one of the horns from the bighorn sheep. I don't know how much that will be. It'll be over 1 kilo, I reckon. And that's just one of them.
All right, so we've left the museum town, which is just next door to us here, and now we're in the real town. We're going to pop into South Park Pottery.
The town of Fairplay has a population of around 740 people. It was established in 1859 during Colorado's Gold Rush era and is located on the South Park Plain. In Colorado, these vast open expanses between the mountains are called parks. Walden, which we visited a few episodes ago, is in North Park. The town of Fairplay got its name from its earliest origins as a place where everyone would be welcome and where everyone was expected to play fair, similar to Australia's motto, Fair Go. It's a beautiful, quirky town and it's well worth the visit. After leaving Fairplay, we had a long drive ahead. I did most of the driving and it was quite exhausting to say the least, especially on I-70, where the traffic can be heavy and people drive very, very fast. The scenery along the route was as beautiful as always. We passed through towns such as Breckenridge and Frisco and continued to enjoy stunning mountain views.
As we drove, we reflected on how amazing the trip had been so far and started to feel the bittersweet emotions that come with knowing you're halfway through a great vacation. Although we still had some exciting destinations ahead of us, thoughts of home frequently crossed our minds. We also began discussing our future plans for Australia, including places to visit and create more videos. At the same time, we were determined to make the most of our time here. This trip is a once-in-a-lifetime experience, and while we were looking forward to our return home, we wanted to cherish every moment we had here.
Well, as you've just seen, we've just done a lot of driving. That was about 3 hours, 3.5 hours from Fairplay in Colorado down here to this little place called Cisco in Utah. So we've just entered the desert area of the United States, which is why we're going to be posting our winter clothes home. We're on our way to Moab. Not really sure how long that is. It's a couple of hours, I think. It's beautiful scenery coming up. It's a little bit windy out here. Scott's flying his drone. This is a funny little place. Cisco, Utah. Let's have a look. Cisco, Utah is a fascinating little town that seems to exist in a world of its own. It's shrouded in legend and mystery. Founded in the 1880s, it began with a humble saloon and water filling station, which provided much needed respite to weary work crews and travellers. Over time, the town expanded as hotels and accommodation sprung up around the saloon, catering to the increasing number of visitors. Additionally, Cisco became a vital hub for local cattle ranchers and sheep herders, further solidifying its place in the region. However, the arrival of the steam train railway marked the beginning of a slow decline for Cisco, as train travel directed traffic away from the town. Today, the town is a mere shadow of its former self, with only 4 residents remaining. Surrounded by arid landscapes, remnants of the past, and an aura of bygone days, Cisco is a place where echoes of history still linger. Despite its dwindling population and tales of ghostly encounters and heartaches, Cisco exudes a captivating charm reminiscent of the rugged outback regions of New South Wales. It's as if the town's rich history and puzzling allure have stood resilient amid the dust and legends that enshroud it.
Before embarking on our scenic journey along the Colorado River toward Moab, we took a moment to immerse ourselves in the intriguing essence of Cisco. The Buzzard's Belly General Store is a place of quirky sculptures, a classic outback dunny, and a souvenir and refreshment store, all in one. Yep, this place certainly did remind us of places out west in Australia.
After a much-needed break, we headed off on the final leg of the day's drive. The scenic byway from Cisco to Moab is no ordinary drive, but a chance to traverse one of Utah's most stunning and picturesque roads. We had deliberately planned to be here in the late afternoon to capture the golden sunlight on the towering walls.
The Colorado River Gorge along this highway is an awe-inspiring natural wonder. The jagged sandstone cliffs rise majestically, creating a breathtaking backdrop that seems almost surreal. Picture-perfect picnic and camping spots dot the landscape, offering visitors a chance to immerse themselves in the stunning surroundings. This picturesque gorge has served as the backdrop for iconic scenes in Wild West movies, making travellers feel like they've stopped in a cinematic set. Yet the geological marvels and cinematic history are just part of the allure. The area also holds a rich paleontological heritage, drawing in researchers seeking to uncover its ancient dinosaur history. Additionally, for millennia, this path was travelled by the Native Americans long before the American frontier reached this captivating landscape.
But if you have a bit more time to spend on this picturesque route, you'll discover abundant opportunities for boating, fishing and hiking, along with countless other amazing adventures. When you approach Moab from this direction, you'll be impressed by the essence of why Moab stands as one of the most renowned adventure destinations in the western United States. The landscapes that unfolded before us were a stark contrast to the snowy vistas and majestic mountains we encountered in Colorado, Wyoming and Montana during the first half of our trip.
Alright, so big day driving. Big day of changes, leaving one state, coming to a different state, leaving one type of landscape, coming to another type of landscape. So you might get a bit of an idea of what's in store for the next episode. We're staying at the Moab Worldmark Resort. Pretty flash looking room. We just thought we'd splurge out a little bit and just relax. So you come in to a fully functional kitchen. Everything's here that you need. Huge fridge, massive stove top and oven. Everything's there ready to go. Dishwasher as well down here.
Wow.
Then you come into the lounge area. So we've got one TV here. A heater, which we haven't got on because it's pretty warm at the moment. Lots and lots of room. Heaps of room to swing a cat, so that's cool. Come into the bedroom.
King size bed.
So, king size bed. Beautiful. TV number 2, if you need it.
It looks like it's bigger than the other one.
Yep. Big spacious room with a big TV. Won't need the TV though. And you come through, just more storage. Full length mirror. I won't show. Massive bathroom. Huge shower. Just heaps of room. And then you come back out this way. And a lovely little dining area. After you've cooked your meal, you can eat it here and then pop it in the dishwasher. So that's it for this episode. So we're in a different landscape now. That might give you a bit of an idea as to what you might be seeing in the next episode. So a great day travelling, big day travelling though. It's a long time to travel. Until next time, take care of your mates.